Mexico is one of the most beautiful countries and recognized all over the world for its culture and landscape inequality. But not everything is rosy in this country. Just it is known for its corruption. In this video, we will talk about the prisons in Mexico and what happened in them. Let's take a look. Mexican prisons have been the scene of escapes, pirates, fights, and mutinies. Self-governments are imposed at the time when the authorities have sought to reduce the prison population. Riots, murders, escapes, violence. The crisis that the prisons of Mexico have been living for years is far from the origin in overcrowding, the tentacles of criminal gangs behind bars, and the corruption of the authorities. The crisis is due to two factors, explained Guillermo Cepeda, director of Jurimetría and Research Center on Legal Issues. On the one hand to overcrowding and on the other to organized crime, which has already permeated the prisons. In several jails, the criminal gangs end up imposing their self-government and maintaining their rivalries, originating fights, riots, escapes, and murders. This year there have been shootings, fires, and even the escape of 29 inmates in several prisons in Tamaulipas. The son of Juan José Esparragosa, one of the founders of the powerful Sinaloa cartel, fled from Sinaloa. Social networks have boiled in recent weeks with the images of a narco-fiesta in a jail in Jalisco, where a dozen of prisoners drink alcohol, eat, and enjoy a live concert. In memory are two spectacular escapes in 2001 and 2015 of Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, one of the largest drug traffickers in the world, and last year's massacre of the Topo Chico prison in Nuevo León, which left 49 deaths in the fight. This scenario is only possible due to corruption within the system, reiterates the academic from the Center for Economic Research and Teaching, Catalina Perez. There is a lot of corruption that nobody cares about. Inmates end up paying to have luxury cells and everything they want to have, while the poorest are those who clean the toilets, she says. Criminal High Security Altiplano, located in Almoloya, State of Mexico, is one of the safe prisons in the country. Founded in 1991, it has more than 800 inmates and has housed the most dangerous criminals such as Daniel Arismendi, El Mocha Orejas, and Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán. Puente Grande. It is the second safest, although there are more than 5,000 inmates. Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán escaped from this prison in Jalisco in 2001 and was recaptured more than 10 years later. Santa Marta Acatitla. It is a women rehabilitation center in Mexico City that allows them to be their children there until a certain age. Elba Ester de Gordillo, Juana Barraza, La Matavijitas, and Sandra Ávila Beltrán, the Queen of the Pacific, are some of the women who have been there. North Prison. It is the one with the largest population, although it was designed to only have 4,000 inmates eating walls. The figure rises more than 13,000. Mafia and corruption dominate this site that lacks drinking water. South Prison. Several politicians have come to stop here and have enjoyed the luxuries in their cells that include paid TV, pool table, and even Servi bar. It should be noted that it has overpopulation because at least 40,000 inmates live in the interior. Barrientos de Barrientos. In this space located in Tlalnepantla, state of Mexico, detainees enjoy privilege thanks to corruption. It is even said the resorts go out to assault the area to obtain money that will be given to a laden criminal in exchange for survival. Criminal Topo Chico. Some 600 inmates are here suffering from prostitution and sexual slavery. It was originally designed for men, but there is a space for women who can take care of their children in their cells. Lecumberri. Until 1976, it was the home of famous criminals and is currently the General Archive of the nation. The prison inspired the films With the Poor and the Lecumberri Palacio Negro, which portrayed the life conditions of the inmates. Finally, we have to San Juan de Ulúa. It is one of the most feared prisons in which the prisoners came to die due to the high temperatures and the tide to infiltrate into the cells, since it is located in Veracruz. Now it is a kind of museum in whose facilities Benito Juárez and Agustín de Iturbide were imprisoned. In all prisons in Mexico, there are 210,991 inmates, and of these, 73.9% when apprehended they had no background, and 26.2% had already been detained on another occasion, according to the National Survivor of Private Population of Liberty 2016, carried out by the National Institute of Statistics of Geography. Half of the inmates are between 28 and 34 years old, 66% working in low-income jobs, 71% finish basic education, 42% stop studying because they started working, and 20% because they have no money. Of the crimes, 60% are robbery of various types, 12.9% possession of drugs, 9.7% illegal carrying of weapons, 8.8% injuries, 5.4% homicide, 4.6% drug trade, 2.1% property damage, 1.5% violations, 1.2% family violence, and 1.2% kidnapping or express kidnapping. The prisons in Mexico do not comply with international regulation known as the Mandela Rules, which establish a minimum that must be met in order to treat prisoners in a dignified way and achieve the social rehabilitation. Overcrowding, lack of custody, no protocols in case of riot. Criminals where the prisoners assume the function of the authority. The National Commission of the Human Rights prepared a diagnosis on a situation of human rights violations in Mexican prisons. This is one of the main conclusions of the National Commission of Human Rights, exposed in the National Diagnosis of Penitentiary Supervision 2015, in which it highlights serious deficiencies in the Mexican penitentiary system, as that up to 73 prisoners are self-government by the inmates, the persistent lack of medical attention and poor hygiene condition. On that is some prison in cell house 30 occupants when they are designed for 4 people. To make the diagnosis, the CADH measures 5 items, aspects that guarantee the inmate physical and moral integrity, aspects that guarantee a dignified state, governance condition, social reintegration of the inmates, and group of inmates with specific requirements. Next, the 10 urgent problems in prison in Mexico will be mentioned. 1. Overpopulation in prisons. 2. Overcrowding. 3. Insufficiency in the programs. 4. Insufficiency for the program for the preparations and attention of violent incidents. And 5. Bad material conditions and hygiene of the facilities to house the inmates. And then we have 6. Insufficiency of security personnel to attend riots, fights, or escapes. 7. Exercise of authority functions by center inmates, self-government. 8. Poor divisions between defendants who have not yet received a sentence and inmates already sentenced. 9. Lack of work activities and training in penal. And 10. Insufficiency in programs for the prevention of addictions and voluntary detoxifications. Mexico prisons are full of low-income people who are there not for violent crimes, but for robbery, to a large extent, to survive. They are in a situation of permanent risk and their human rights are systematically violated. In each of the prison and the penitentiary system, everything is a bomb that is always about to explode.